Well, I guess we're going to show you around the junkyard here. This is where I grew up. When I was a kid, I was just like so embarrassed to be in a junkyard, and now I'm totally addicted to it. Which, and not many of us are where we want to be, you know, in life and in our profession or whatever. But this is a shit for me. This is perfect. Probably start over here. We've got a 28 or 29 Ford Sport Coupe. It's it'd be a soft top coupe. You see a lot of them like this, and at first glance you're like, oh, it's a roadster, but the doors are longer on this, so it's not proportioned like a roadster. The roadster is just kind of, it's prettier. I don't think they're worth as much as a coupe, and I don't think they're worth as much as a roadster. I think it's kind of the bastard child of the Model A's. But if you were like a really tall guy and you wanted a roadster, that'd be great because it's longer. See, the door opening is probably 6 inches longer than a roadster is. That's for sale. We were gonna try to maybe build it because my dad is a tall guy, but I ended up buying a regular roadster for him, which we'll do videos about that along the way too. Hopefully within a year we'll have that thing roller. This is old fixture. This is old, made out of scrap metal from, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. Let's put something to protect it from the weather as much as I can anyway. But what it is you take like a 30s Ford front axle and bolt it down here and here, and one of them is for the newer axle, and this is for the Model A 28 to 35 would fit in this hole. And then this is a clamp that helps hold it down. We put a bottle jack under here. Put the axle in here, run this through the Kingpin Boss. Then you take and measure from here and make a mark however far you want to drop the axle. And we put a bottle jack under here. And from each side you take a torch and you heat up the area that actually gets dropped. And once it's glowing good, you start hitting the jack and you move it up as far as you want. Most of them have some drop in them. I think they all have at least 1.5 inch drop. So let's say you have a 2-inch drop axle and you want a 5-inch. Well, you'd mark 3 inches off. I don't know if you could get 5 inches out of it, but 4 for sure. So you'd mark 2 inches off. And then I usually just clamp a piece of metal here, 2 inches, and then once this is up and touches that, then we just let it cool, take it off. We have a video up of it, so you can check that out. This is I don't know, I get so nerdy about it, but I don't want to buy something out of the catalog. You know, when I first started doing all of this stuff, I was like, well, I'll just do it myself because I can't afford it. Not that I'm rich now, but I can afford to buy an axle. I don't want an axle. I want to go to a junk car. I want to find a Model A or whatever, and I want to bolt it to my fixture, and I want to heat it up, and I want to make the real axle, something that people did in the 40s and 50s when they were trying to lower their hot rods. A lot of this stuff, I'm sort of lucky because up north here, well, there aren't a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that just have stuff laying in their backyard. You know, they didn't. There isn't a scrap yard every couple of miles, so they just end up putting it in the backyard, and they got property, so it just sits there. And then eventually it comes around to where either they're gone and the family wants it gone or whatever, and that's where I come in. being a car enthusiast, Christine is she's catching it probably worse than I have it even. But you always see cars and you're like, man, you know, you imagine what it could be. So then you have to have it, you buy it, and most of the time they just sit here like this. We have a 55 Chevy 4-door that's a almost a complete car. This is a 66, I think Biscayne or Impala, probably a Biscayne with a post, like a sedan. Back 30 years ago, a car like this, if it was anywhere around a crusher, it got crushed. When someone says post, they mean this here. It's a sedan. It has a frame around the window, and I'm not sure if they're. I heard that they were stronger, and that's why people would buy them and put big engines in them and drag race them. I don't know if that's so much true as they were cheaper. This was a hardtop car, which wouldn't have any of this in there. Is the deluxe model car. It's you know, it's the Bel Air or the, I guess Impala would be hardtop. Impala's more so than hardtop Biscaynes. It probably is our hardtop Biscayne. So anyways, that went on for so long that people were crushing these and only looking for hardtops, that now these are as cool or cooler because you don't see them anymore. My 55 Chevy is a post, and I wouldn't want a hardtop because the post looks more correct for a gasser. This car is a 72-ish Tornado, which is a V8 front-wheel drive car. I think the first one was in '66. My buddy James Summers has one we worked on, and that's why this car is here, because we took the disc brakes off of it to put on his. Right here we got the Ford Fairlane movie car, right? Only his was a convertible. This is a '57 Ford Fairlane 500, which is, it doesn't look so bad here, but there's nothing under it. The floor is completely gone. We're on the border pretty much with Minnesota, and back in the old days, Minnesota salted the roads so bad, and then we've got harsh winters. I saved the car for the trim and it's too cool a car to not or to just crush. But you can see that's hardtop, right? There's no post there, so that'd be the difference. That would be a high-end car. So walk over here. If Christine falls down, I'll just pick up the camera. There's a lot of stuff laying down too.
Just go on without me.
Yeah. It's been a junkyard since '76. This is a '53 Studebaker. I took it apart several years ago. I was going to go for like a land speed kind of thing, but really only recently began finishing stuff. Like when I was younger, I was really good at taking stuff apart. Along the back of this building is the 31 Model 8 coupe, which I have plans for someday. I have a lot of those for Hemis and flatheads. This is some of the stuff, like I was saying, is just kind of modern stuff that you'll see. I mean, it's not even modern enough to be parts for cars that are on the road now. Watch out there, I don't know what that is. So a lot of this stuff's going to hit the crusher here pretty soon. This is a Dodge Savoy, I think it's called. This has been around our area for a long time, and I always knew it was around, and I know it has a Hemi in it. It's got that little 241 Dodge Hemi in it, so the Dodge Royal, I guess. So when I knew that the estate was coming up for sale, I chased it down, and I paid too much for it, and there it sits. Like I said before, the weeds have never really been this bad. Unbelievable. This is a neat little car. This is the first car to be on the property. It's a 58 MGA, and it's a coupe. So the majority of these cars that I've seen anyway are convertibles. So this car's been, not that we were ever going to crush it or anything, but I always felt like it was worth something being a coupe. Like, they have to be more rare for how many you see. I can't imagine it's only because they only fix convertibles. I think the coupes are quite a bit more rare. What's next? All this stuff's for sale, by the way. Well, no, not the. Let's see. Not the Model A. Not the Model A. We'll get down here and we'll have Christine describe the car. When we were little kids, all these cars parked next to each other like this. It was all full, you know. So we'd play a game where we jump from one to the next, you know, onto the tops, and Daddy gets so pissed. But it was a fun game, and quite often you'd smash your nuts jumping on the car, but whatever. Here, let me see that. You do the Mopar there. That one. Get over there.
This one?
Yeah. Yeah. Describe the color.
Describe the color.
You know.
Looks gold.
You remember where it came from, right?
Yep. I know it's a satellite.
It is a satellite.
60s.
It is a early 70s satellite.
70s.
So it's sort of the same thing as a Roadrunner would be.
Yep.
It's a pile of shit, right?
Except for the bumper.
Yeah, it has an amazingly straight bumper on it.
Right.
Gotten to the point where if I see anything that's old, especially if it's Mopar, not that I'm a Mopar freak, I just know that stuff is sought after. So it gets put down here where the interesting stuff is, like that Ford Escort back there. We got a whole bunch of pickup and truck cabs too in the 30s Fords. We generally only keep 30s Fords, and then 60s and 70s Mopars. You know, there's like a Mopar. Well, there's one right here. This is a 40s Dodge, right? Now, if that was I think that's probably a 46, 47 Dodge, maybe. If that was a 46 or 47 Ford, it'd be worth $4,000 or $5,000 the way it sits. And being a Dodge, I'm tempted to crush it. You know, it's probably only worth what it weighs. So you kind of got to know what era of car to look for. This is a 50, I don't know, 8 Ford panel van. So it'd be like a delivery truck type thing. They call this a panel, and if it's this on a sedan, they call it a sedan delivery. Behind it is a little fair lane that's actually super straight, but again rusted out on the bottom, so not worth a restoration. I kept it here because I thought maybe someday someone would want to do like a rusted mod and put a full chassis under it, because it would need that. It's that rusty. All right, we just have a few left here. We just have a few left that are interesting. But if you want to see more of this stuff, we can. There's a yard near us that's a lot bigger and has this type of thing. So this is a 35, I think. I don't know, maybe it's a 34. I should know better than that. It has a flathead Ford in it that still cranks, and it has a Stromberg 97 on it. So I'll one day get that thing fired up and see how it runs. The flathead Ford stuff is always worth something. The ones that are most sought after are 49 to 53. That was the last run of them, and they're just improved in a lot of ways. Got a 55, I think, Buick Special. And there's another one here. 40 Ford pickup. I might be a year or two off on some of this stuff. You can go ahead and yell at me if I am. A 48 Cadillac with a flathead in it, flathead V8. This is something that's in this bad condition. I'm just buying it for the engine. Like, that thing has a 322 nailhead in it. But if you look under here, the flathead Ford is similar to this in a lot of ways, except Cadillac did what Ford should have done. This is the exhaust manifold. So the intake and exhaust ports are both on the inside the V of the Ford. Flatheads were prone to crack and had a lot of overheating problems, is because Ford didn't like how this would look. So Henry said, well, we're going to put the exhaust on the other side, on the far side of the V. But to get there, they had to, since all the valves are up on top, they had to put exhaust ports through a long way inside of the block. Like, from where the exhaust valve is to actually getting out of the engine, the exhaust is flowing maybe, the front one's probably 10 inches to get out. And by that time, all of that heat in that exhaust port is, it's compromising the cooling system. It's the cooling system's having a hell of a time keeping up with that. That doesn't mean that flathead Fords aren't cool. That just means that was a bit of a design flaw. 55 Pontiac back there, 2-door. The reason I picked that up is because you'll see the roof line and everything is the same as the Chevy. So people take those and I sold the doors off of it already to somebody that's converting a 2-door into a 4-door. 55 Chevy has the same wheelbase, whether it's 2 or 4 doors. So that's why that's in here. So 55 Chevy wagon on the other side of it. And then just Ford and Mercury stuff, I guess. We don't have a lot of stuff. We're just, because like I said, Dad just tried to make a living all these years, and he got something in and he could crush it or sell pieces enough that he'd get his money back on it. That's what would happen. I got parts and stuff inside that are interesting, but none of that stuff's for sale, so I don't think it's worth showing. But as far as early Ford stuff goes, and small block Chevy stuff, which is plentiful, I have a ton of that stuff, and I have some Hemi stuff, some first generation Hemi stuff. So if anybody out there's looking for some stuff, just get a hold of us and might be able to help you out. But that's it. Let us know if you like this kind of thing. I could have went probably a little bit more in depth with what we have here, but if you like it, there's a place up north here. I think they called it Field of Dreams. There's a video about it, but I'm sure you would let us go up there and walk around and show you around that too. There's hundreds of cars there that are probably 1970 and older. So thanks for watching.